More on aliens. Welcome to day 182 until I'm a YouTube millionaire. The reason I wanted to talk a little bit more about this is because, well, as you know, I used to be very gung-ho about the existence of extraterrestrial life. But also, one of my good friends, who I talked about in my previous video, Boris, has mentioned on a few occasions that aliens are real. No, they're not. They don't exist. They don't. Every single time that something crazy has happened, like the New Jersey drones, we found out they were drones, or this steel or metal ball that was discovered recently in, I think it was somewhere around Peru, I can't remember exactly, some South American country. There is no proof whatsoever that that steel ball is anything aside from some complex hoax, some military experiment, or some object that at the very most might be from another point in time in history. Now, don't misunderstand me here. There are beings that are from beyond Earth as we know it, that are from beyond this era, and in the celestial realm, if you will. But in this three-dimensional reality, I think the most we will find in anywhere else in the universe, and this could be for a number of reasons, will be just basic animals. I don't think that we're going to find any life outside of Earth that is intelligent. We've had a long time in searching the stars with our telescopes, with our satellites. This is the point right now where we should be seeing the signals. There is less than a 50% probability that we would not see one up to this point. With human eyes looking onto them and saying, oh, that is an otherworldly signal. We still don't see them. It's because they're not there. Everything, these little pieces happening, the reason that's happening now is because it has to. Because we're at that 50% threshold right now. And if it doesn't happen, if it doesn't mold our perception in some way, shape, or form, that they're going to no longer be perceived. And if they're not perceived, they don't exist. Frankly, they don't. And we're not going to manifest them into reality. If they want to exist, they have to straight up show themselves. They're not going to. Because they're just specters. They're ghosts. The ones that are here that have shown themselves are not foreign. They're what you already know of. They're your family. They're the ones that love you. That are here to protect you. That are here to serve you. They are, in fact, you. No. Those aliens, they're not there. They're not. I explained some of this actually in my story, and it looks like nobody's going to read it. Page Publishing has told me that I've gotten 20 book sales. I know they're lying to me, which that should be grounds for a suit, but there's not enough money there for me to sue them. But they told me I sold 20 books, so apparently nobody's going to read the story. Okay, fine. I'll just explain it here. Those gray aliens that are in our pop culture, I want to be proven wrong. I want you to understand that. I want to be proven wrong. But I won't be. Those gray aliens are us. They are us. When we develop time machines, which if we can conceptualize them right now, That means we're going to invent them very soon if we haven't already. Okay? Period. End of story. If we can conceptualize it, it's only a matter of time before we actually make it a reality. These gray aliens are us from a divergent timeline. Our future, where we barely survive this great divide that we're going through right now. They're one of those futures, where those of us who do survive overemphasize our intelligence and underemphasize our physical forms. And when it is said that they are from Zeta Reticuli, some of them, that's true. Because we use teleportation devices to get over to that planetary system, star system. I think it's like 40 light years away. Something like that. And in that, they're on a different set, or within a different set of environmental pressures, not only through their own personal emphasis, but also the pressures of that environment. They would lose their hair, they would grow smaller, and they would get very, very intelligent, and potentially even with robotic augmentations. They are us. And they can't lie to you, per se, if it is ever seen, or they are ever asked questions. I've said this before on videos, but like I said, there's virtue in repetition, because most of you are only going to see me once. So I might as well say the most important pieces out here that I can. Every single time a gray alien, as we see it, is questioned on their origins, they are always saying that they are our descendants. Every time. And these other creatures, like these mantis people, or these what are they called again? The Nordic beings and all these other ones, they're all creations of us. The Nordics are us from the future. The mantis beings are our creation through our science and our manipulation of DNA and stuff like that. You can conceptualize it happening. We did it. They're not there. Not in this three-dimensional reality. Not in this era. If you were to go to any other part of this three-dimensional universe, instantaneously, the most you will find, I would surmise, is animals like my doggo back there. My buddy. My doggos. My buddies. There's also the little aspect that, let's say I'm wrong about this, which the probabilities would indicate that I should be. I should be. Doesn't seem to be the case. I want to be proven wrong, but they won't show themselves. If there were ever a time that they were going to, it would be now, with the craziness that's happening on the planet right now. But they won't do it. There's also the element that every single time an intelligent species is born, becomes fully cognizant, has its own agency, that it's whisked away from this reality in kind of a similar fashion to the way we're being right now, in that the reality is rendered irrelevant to those beings. When we actually do invent time travel, this reality will be completely irrelevant, because we will no longer be bound by it. And we'll be able to freeze our metabolisms and live forever and transcend our bodies and go from one body to another simply by the power of our thought and intent. It's just a stone's throw away. And that's a giant leap. But it's like a, what's the word? It's discrete. It's not continuous. It's discrete. So it goes like this. You know? Like a pixel. Like computers. Computers are generally discrete. But physical bodies and analog systems are continuous. So we invent this technology, which I would go so far as to say it exists right now, and we're just trying to mollify ourselves to be able to handle it so that it can be presented to all of us. Then this reality is completely irrelevant. Irrelevant. Sorry. If I tell you to think about, or not to think about elephants, what are you thinking about? Elephants. The movie Inception. There was a lot there. Another element that was probably incepted into the zeitgeist, into Christopher Nolan's creative mind, because he could present it to us properly, to give us another little aspect of it all. It's hugely important. I also talk about Inception in my story, which it looks like nobody's gonna read. I do keep in mind that The Alchemist in its first 2 years of being on the market sold 2 copies. And The Alchemist now has sold tens of millions of copies across the entire planet. And it's an extremely popular book today and will be forever. I do keep that in mind, but at the same time I don't have the ego to say that I could come anywhere close to that level of success. I'm probably just going to be another forgettable author, regardless of how good or bad my writing is. Because it's not just about you being good, you also have to be discovered. So. But I talk about it in my story. You can decide whether you want to read it or not. It's this one right here. You decide what you want to do. You decide what you want to believe. The aliens aren't there. They're not. I wish they were. God's there, though. Again, as human beings, we are, out of necessity, made to be humble, to have humility. And to say that we are made in the image of God is the very closest we can get to say the truth. That we fully are God. Little fractioned pieces of Him. We are God. He made us to be that. We're the ones that are actually making this reality around us. It's our perception that makes reality. And the aliens are not there. They don't exist. Until they prove me wrong, they will simply be specters, ghosts, our descendants that are trying to force the path of reality in their direction so that they continue to exist. But they don't. Alright, guys. That's all I got for today. I had to say something here because my friend Boris has brought this up several times and I think he's being misdirected. But, I love y'all. Peace.